trust company is a legitimate vehicle used everywhere globally for investment, savings, and estate planning purposes. It's allowed by law everywhere. In my particular case and that of my family, it was done on very valuable advice of our then bankers, Lloyds TSB. This is what they did to all their international clients who operated at the time I lived in the UK. They will help you to see that you formulate a trust company offshore, and that is what we did. This company was never used to launder money before, during, and after till date. So it wasn't used anytime I was in office for anything. Two, it was never used to buy property before I went into office, during the time I was in office, and after the time I was in office. It was strictly a trust company that savings and family planning that was strictly used to support our borrowings, which we even invested in this country. And they are facts, they're not things that you can, that's it.
Right.
So,
well, according to confidential information, you have about $500 million squirreled away in the British Virgin Islands and in Switzerland. Can this amount be described as legitimate earnings?
Well, I wish, I don't think I would even be if I had that type of money. But let me tell you, when people banding money or talk about money and size of money here, it's because we're not a productive country. People don't work for their money. So we find it difficult to understand value of money. And I'll take time to explain this to you. Globally today, the world population is 7,750,000,000, out of which only 37.5 million is worth $1 million. That is 0.05%. Only 3 million, which is 0.04%, is worth 10 million. And only 300,000 is worth $25 million, which is 0.004%. So when people call these figures, it's alarming because of the fact that we live in a country where people make money they don't need and everything. If you go anywhere near this company being mentioned, its accounts, everything globally, and find more than about 3% of the value you mentioned now, 3%, I'm talking about $15 million, out of which 70% is supporting a loan of investment in this country, then confiscate everything, even confiscate everything I have in my life. If you go to this, do you know what $500 million is? $500 billion today in Nigeria is almost 300 billion naira. My entire earning while I was governor, Anambra State received, was under 500 billion, out of which I say 15%, 75 billion. That is what talking about. I don't know where people call figures here, and that's why people try to make money they don't need. What do you need that type of money for? Why do you have to do that? The money, the trust company is there. And one of the challenges I'm going to throw today is to ask you and some other people to select 1, 2, 3, 4 persons that have foot their bill to follow the trail of this company to where it is today. And see the formation, who gave the advice, how we came to it and everything. Please, there's nothing, you wouldn't even find 5% of that, of what the figure you called anywhere. If I have $500 million, well, I don't know what I would be doing. You would have seen me building, you know how many schools and institutions I support? I've been building universities all over the place. But by my own commitment to do the right things, I try to stay within the law. And I can tell you, I was within the law. What you're seeing now is the situation where, we've looked for everything. If we can't find anything against this man, since he's been since he's going about preaching about saving, preaching about this, let's just throw anything on him. What I was preaching about saving is what I did. I'm always happy when I see Ruben here, because Ruben was part of a government that I participated. The very first day I became governor, the first thing I discussed in my ESCO with my executives is that we must save money. They came up and said, why? I said, listen, as a father, I save money for my children. And they know. So I must save money for the children of Anambra State. Even when I was impeached, go and read my impeachment notice. One of the third point of why I was impeached is saving money without authority of the House. I came back from that impeachment. I said, we must continue saving. As long as I'm here, whenever we receive our FAC allocation, the first thing we do is remove money for pension, remove money for gratuity, remove saving, pay salary, then the rest we can work with. If you don't do it, I'm not part of it. And this you can see everywhere. If you go to Ngozi Wala's book, which you can see, page 61, he showed it there that all the governors, all of us were in a meeting, refused when he was talking about saving. And he said that only Peter Obi, who argued for saving, was shouted down by his colleagues. It was only Leoli Moke that supported me. If you call Sheguna Aganga, when he was doing sovereign wealth fund, he would tell you, he's in his own notes, that only Peter Obi who supported sovereign wealth fund to be set up and savings. If I have opportunity of being part of Nigeria at the helm, the first law I will take, the first executive bill I will take to the House is that Nigeria must save money. We must have at least 5 to 10% of our resources from oil, from mineral resources, from natural resources, saved for future generation. Because the expiring assets, every country is doing savings. That's why we have a problem because we don't save. You must save money. You must bequeath your children a better place than you found it. And that includes saving for them. I save for my family, and they know.
Okay. So just confirm for me again, as way of housekeeping, the $500 million is a phantom amount.
No. I said
and if you have 1/3 of that, like you said.
No, I didn't say 1/3. I said if you go there and find more than 3%, which is about 3%, which is about $15 million.
Okay.
If I bequeath my children $500 million, I've cost them.
Okay.
Yes, money you bequeath people, you cost them.
Okay.
You know, you bequeath them what is manageable and everything, so they can start their life.
Okay, so $15 million
I said,
is the number.
If you have something, if you see anything more than that, confiscate what I have overseas and locally here.
Shebi una talk say Tinubu na master strategist. Now only for rigged election now in strategy they work. Of course, we know say in strategy not rich economy, it not reach good governance. Because with all the grammar when I don't speak, all the things when I don't reel out as achievements in 2 years of Tinubu, all of them, I wonder how you guys actually sleep at night. I just wonder. When you say these things, you say, oh, one of the achievements of Tinubu is devaluation of the naira. And you say it with a straight face. You say it looking into camera. You don't say it in hiding. You say it in the face of Nigerians that are suffering the consequence of the devaluation of the naira. And you call it an achievement. You increased the pump price of petrol. And Nigerians are suffering for it. Wiped out their purchasing power. Caused sky-high inflation. And Nigerians are suffering high cost of living crisis. And you call it achievement. You are even using student loan as achievement. When you, according to your records, you have only catered for 10%, 300,000. We know it's way less than that. Their actual figure is around 100,000. But let's, for the sake of this analysis, agree that you have catered for 300. Out of 3 million students in higher institutions in Nigeria, you catered for 300, and you call that an achievement, when in actual fact, you increased the school fees by over 1,000%. Now students and families are struggling to pay the high school fees, even where they say they have given loans. You are the ones that came out with the scam again, that some people are using the NELFOR to divert from, and you are shameless enough to list it as achievement. Okay, fine. All these things that you have claimed are achievement. You promised that you will give 24-hour supply. You increased tariffs and you gave us band A, band B. You promised that minimum 20 hours of electricity. We are not seeing it. And instead of holding your face down in shame, you are counting it as achievements. Make una dey fear God o. If una not get shame, Nigerians dey shame for una. But that aside, you have reeled out all your propaganda that you call midterm achievements, which we know that, of course, Tinubu does not have strategy for. My own concern right now, and that's my question, Nigerians, make una help me, because I'm sure that these APC supporters, they don't have answers for it. Does it mean that Tinubu's strategy for winning election only revolves around rigging? Does it mean that Tinubu's sharp mind and ability to strategize does not work when there is free and fair elections? To the extent that none of you have thought about responding, just responding out of respect for the citizens of Nigeria. Akpabio, you have not responded. Tajuddin Abbas, you have not responded. Deputy Senate President, you have not responded. Yeah? Deputy Speaker, you have not responded. None of you have responded. Is it that you are afraid of free and fair election? Do you think that somehow when you don't answer Nigerians, then that means that you will have your paths cleared for rigged election in 2027? If you are thinking that, think again. Oh, just wait until I reveal what I'm going to reveal to you today. Why have you guys not answered Randy Peters? Is it that you guys are too lazy to do the work? You are tired? You're thinking that, combing through the Electoral Act and combing through the Constitution, then it's a lot of work. The work is too much for your legislative aides, and so you cannot come in to help. It's too much for you. So instead of saying, the work is too much, you decided to just keep quiet. Is that it? Or do you feel that Nigerians cannot do anything? Nigerians are not smart enough? You have successfully weaponized poverty against them. You have successfully divided and conquered them. You have successfully distracted them with all manners of distraction, religion, entertainment, education, tribalism. You think because of such divisions and distractions, then there's no need for you to reply such a noble request. First, let me even ask, is there any of you that thinks that electoral reform is a bad thing? Is electoral reform bad? Is it possible that any Nigerian will be against electoral reform and that Nigerian can be said to have good intentions? Let me announce to you, your decision to ignore Randy Peters to avoid amending the Electoral Act 2022, that decision will be a decision that will be counterproductive. Because you see, amendment of the Electoral Act is just one layer. In fact, the least layer out of 7 layers of defense against rigging in Nigeria's 2027 elections. It's the least. If you think you can just ignore us, think again. Even if you pass that Electoral Amendment Act into law, right? Okay, the bill, you pass the bill and Tinubu assents to it and it becomes an act. Even when you do that, that is still just one layer out of our 7 layers of defense. It's still just one. There are 6 others that you will soon see. And if you choose not to do that electoral amendment, the other 6 do not depend on you. They depend on us. You see, we can see clearly now. We thought you guys meant well in 2023. And that is why many of us fell for your traps. Even when people like us saw through it and we kept warning and warning and warning, many of us did not see it, but now they see it. 2027 will not be business as usual. 2027. Una go hear 'em. You guys will feel it. All the pains that Nigerians have been feeling now, you will feel it. Yes, you will. I asked you a question. I said, is it that you are too lazy to do the work? Randy Peter only did petition. Okay, I have taken it a step further. In the description of this video, there is a link to the amendments that Randy Peter is asking for. All you just need to do, if you're the Senate President, the Deputy Senate President, the Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, all of you principal officers of the National Assembly, all you need to do is take the document that is attached, download it, and present it. That's all. And the speed with which you amended the 2015 Cyber Crimes Act, such that we now have the 2024 Cyber Crimes Amendment Act.